The year is almost over, but there is still time to pick up some banger deals on the PlayStation Store. We've got a couple of awesome sales that are going on at the moment that I wanted to cover off because I think there's some stuff worth mentioning in here. This video here, we're going to be looking at some of the hottest games that are included in the sale. I think these are games that are worth checking out. They're worth being on your list and worth playing. So let me know in the comment section if you've played any of these games or if you've decided to pick any of them up from the sale. Also, keep in mind, Sony will be doing their annual January sale, their biggest sale of the year, which will probably be kicking off just before Christmas. So stay tuned for that as well. I'll be covering it on the channel, but there'll also be some really good deals included in that. Oh, also, before we start the actual video, make sure you subscribe if you're not already subscribed. It would really help me out if you did. Hot games. Spider-Man Game of the Year Edition. Everyone's probably played Spider-Man at this point. Everyone's probably seen the new Spider-Man movie at this point as well. Given it's the most popular thing and one of the better PlayStation 4 games, given it's so accessible for pretty much everyone to jump in and play. It's also got a really good platinum trophy on it as well, with like no missable trophies. So if you're a trophy hunter or you're looking to get into trophy hunting, this is a really good start for that. It's a third-person action-adventure game based on Spider-Man. If you like Spider-Man at all, you like superhero games, this is definitely worth checking out. Alright, more of a controversial, probably inclusion, but Dead by Daylight, because I really like Dead by Daylight. A really good asymmetrical horror multiplayer game that is generally quite terrifying. If you like horror games and you haven't played this one yet, it is a must buy. But if you just want to play a game with friends in a multiplayer environment, it's also a really good option for that as well. One person plays the killer, the other people play as survivors, and you can kind of get up to some hijinks and antics and things around that too. The cool thing about it from a horror fan or a survival horror fan is that because it is a player versus a player, there is randomness to it, whereas when you play a traditional horror game, the AI is a little bit more predictable. So in this, it's different. It means that every game is different. I dig it. It's a good game. Another one a lot of you guys have probably already played is God of War, 2018's God of War specifically. With the new one coming out next year, I think it's good to add this on the list. It's $10, great price for this. Awesome narrative-driven third-person action-adventure game here. It's no-brainer if you're looking for something in that genre. It's probably the peak of that genre, I would say as well. Just go buy it. Don't look up anything else about it. Just go buy it and play it. Trust me, you'll enjoy this game. Call of Duty Black Ops. This was a joke inclusion because I spent literally half of this year playing Call of Duty Black Ops 4. It's $20. Don't buy this. Dragon Ball FighterZ, the best Dragon Ball fighting game that has ever been released. It's actually a proper 2D fighting game, unlike the Xenoverse games, which are like 3D arena fighters or 3D action adventure almost games. This one is a really, really solid fighter game. It's got a solid multiplayer mode. It's got solid co-op multiplayer mode as well. Split screen, I should say, and it also has a good story to it too, which is kind of different to the traditional Dragon Ball story, which is hard to do. So if you like Dragon Ball Z, you like fighting games, this is a good one to check out. I talk about this every time, so I'm not going to go into heaps of details, but Assassin's Creed Origins, you know what Assassin's Creed is, and you get a particular level of pedigree when you purchase one of these games. As much as people like to bag on them and say, oh, it sucks, it's Assassin's Creed. You know you're getting a solid experience here. Origins is a pretty good one as well. This one's set in Egypt. It's more of an action RPG, I would say, than an action adventure game. But it's gonna give you like 70 or 80 hours worth of content. So, you know, that alone, it's worth the $15. The Division 2 is a multiplayer squad-based game. It's kind of like Destiny. They've created this service-like game, but realistically, like, it's a third-person Ghost Recon style shooter, just with these multiplayer elements added onto it as well. So if you and your buddies are looking to play something for $9, it's not bad. I think it's been down to $5 before, I'm pretty sure. So keep that in mind. And it's a couple of years old, so you know, manage your expectations with that too. Another Assassin's Creed. This is the Ezio collection. This is the OG Assassin's Creed games. This comes with Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations. So these are like the classic stealth action Assassin's Creed game versus the new RPG style Assassin's Creed games. This one is $12. Comes with 3 games. They're all PlayStation 3 games that have been remastered for the PS4, so they are slightly older, but you are getting a decent amount of content here. I personally really dig Assassin's Creed 2. I think it is still probably the best one in the entire franchise. I don't know if everyone thinks that way, but it's a solid game if you're looking for something to play, and you're getting a bunch of content here too. Maybe you've played some of the new Assassin's Creed games, you want to go back and experience the old ones. This is a good way to do that. This is, I think, my favorite Resident Evil game, RE7 Biohazard for $10. It's a steal. If you like horror, this is a first-person horror game where you're exploring like a haunted house, for lack of a better word. Very similar to the mansion in the first game, but this one is first person. It's great. The game plays exceptionally well. It does horror really well. It does adventure really well. It does gameplay, like it's combat very well too. I really, really dig this game. Being a Resident Evil fan for the past 20 years, for a game like this to pop up in 2017, I think it was, and like sort of become my favorite Resident Evil game, really does say something about it. It is very, very good. highly recommend checking this one out. So we're at Doom as well, 2016's Doom? 2016's Doom is $6. First person, gory shooter game. Really buttery, classic first-person game. If you're looking for just a solid first-person game that just works with none of the frills, just shooting stuff, this is it. This is that game. It's obviously a remake of the original Doom, not a remaster, so it's completely from the ground up. It's good. Just, yeah, it's $6. It's worth your time. I include Ratchet & Clank on here because this is a solid game and it's only $10 as well. I know the price point wasn't particularly high on this one to begin with, but if you know, maybe you've heard people playing the new Ratchet & Clank this year and you haven't checked this one out, it's worth checking out. It's a good mascot platformer, really funny story to it, really solid gameplay. The game looks great. It plays just like a Pixar movie. It's good. If you're wanting something fun to play over the holidays with maybe some family members, this is a good one for you to check out. It's got an easy platinum trophy on it too for Trophy Hunter. If you're wanting an RPG, Dragon Age Inquisition is a very solid one. This one here gets a lot of flack because it came out at a very similar time as The Witcher, and realistically The Witcher 3 is just a better game than this, but it is still a really solid RPG on its own. It's like one of the last games that BioWare made when they were actually kind of good as well. It came out at the very beginning of the PS4 generation, so it is a little bit older at this point and it is a little bit more dated. But for $10, you're getting a massive action-adventure RPG here that's going to take you hours and hours and hours and hours to complete. So you're getting a bunch of content. I don't think we've ever talked about Bugsnax, but it's $18 or just under $18 on the PlayStation Store. Bugsnax is a weird sort of like adventure game, I would say. That's probably the best way. Like if you compare it to those old LucasArts puzzle adventure games, I think that's the closest I can get in terms of describing this one. It's a fun, silly narrative game. Maybe if you've played any of those Justin Roiland games like Trover and things like that, you kind of get an idea in terms of like the comedy style of this one. I can't even remember what they made before they made Bugsnax. Was it Octodad? It wasn't Octodad, was it? I'm sure someone in the comment section will be able to like tell me, but it's good. It's fun and silly to play. This was like one of the PS5 like promo games, but is available on the PS4 as well. All right, another one that I'm a little bit biased around is Hunt Showdown. Because this is a game I play like 2 or 3 times a week. Hunt Showdown is a PvPvE game, and it was my game of the year in 2020. It was one of my favorite games. It still remains one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 4. You play as a hunter in the bayou trying to hunt down a bounty. Normally it's a monster that you have to hunt down, but there are other players also trying to hunt down that same monster. The way the game plays, you're in this massive open world map, and you have to decide whether you want to hunt the other players or hunt the bounty, or do both. And so it's a mixture of like a stealth game and a really aggressive first-person game. Basically, when you hunt the bounty, then you have to extract and escape from the map, and it creates all sorts of wildness because you're playing this mind game between the other players, you're playing this mind game between the AI and the enemies and things that you're doing in there. You can choose to keep hunting and get more loot, but then if you die, you lose it all. It's a really, really fun, addictive multiplayer game. Definitely recommend checking this one out if you haven't already. It's a little bit more expensive, but trust me, this one comes with my personal seal of approval. Jak and Daxter bundle, if you're looking for another mascot platformer game, this one's $20, comes with all 4 of the original Jak and Daxter games. These aren't remakes or remasters, they're just straight ports to the PS2 games, so keep that in mind. They aren't the most polished. They still have the jank that came with the PS2 games and the control scheme that came with the PS2 games, which, believe it or not, is not as good as you remember it. These games are classics though, and they all have really easy platinum trophies attached to them too, so if you're a trophy hunter, this is 4 platinum trophies, and they're 4 really good games. They're just old, that's all. The last one I wanted to include was Resident Evil Raccoon City Edition. This includes both RE2 and 3, both remakes and remasters of those original games in third person on the modern PlayStation 4. This makes both of the games around $12 each, which is I think the lowest I've ever seen them individually anyway. I don't believe these ones have gotten to under $10. So for $26.39, you're getting both of them for this price. I think it's a really, really solid offering and a solid deal, honestly. Let me know what you've picked up from this sale though in the comments down below. I'd be curious to hear which games you're picking up and playing over the holiday period. Don't forget to leave a like if you like this video. Feel free to leave a dislike if you want, even though they kind of do nothing now. And subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Thanks. Let's see who made the Platinum Trophy Nice List this year. Merry Christmas to all my Patreons and channel members, my favorite people in the world. And thank you so very much for supporting the YouTube channel this month. Each and every one of you guys over here next to me is on my Nice List this year for Christmas. So thank you very much for supporting the Platinum Trophy and keeping the YouTube channel's lights on. If you too want to be added to my Nice List, you can do the same thing by joining Patreon in the link in the description down below. $1 honestly helps this channel out enormously. Alternatively, you can join the channel and become a channel member by hitting the join button just below this video. Joining the channel gives you an additional flex because it gives you special emotes to use in chat, it gives you priority during live streams, and it gives you a little platinum trophy symbol next to your name. Thank you everyone for a fantastic 2021, and thank you for all your support and helping me keep this YouTube channel going. I cannot wait for 2022.